Welcome to the second block of this sixth symposium, Microtone, Small is Beautiful. Hello, Duke. I hope you can hear us. So we are going to
Yep,
continue. Great to see you. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, fine. Um, yes, so we are continuing with Luke Villavicencio. Sorry, I always I have this tendency. And connected to the guitar. It's going to be the first guitar connected presentation this year. Static bending, a microtonal guitar technique. And so this is a CV I found myself. I think you forgot to send us an updated one.
Oh,
So a
sure.
20-year-old classical trained guitarist, maybe 21 now or something like this.
Yep.
A new music composer currently study at the State University of New York at Fredonia. Born and raised in Long Island, New York, Luke went to Shewanhaka High School, one of the oldest high schools on the island. He was taught guitar and composition privately by Courtney Gerald Fleming from around 2015 to 2022, and is currently taught guitar and composition respectively by Dr. James Piorkowski of the Buffalo Guitar Quartet and Dr. Rob Dimmer at SUNY Fredonia. He's one of the new members of the Fredonia Guitar Quartet. Simplifying the understanding and composition of microtones with microtonal planes is his debut research paper. In regards to composition, his portfolio currently consists of a growing collection of guitar studies and solos, numerous small ensemble pieces, a microtonal rhapsody to go along with this research paper with more to come, and a concert band piece that was performed by the Sewanhaka Symphony Band as his debut piece in his senior year of high school in 2022. Luke has plans to expand his performance experience, his composition portfolio, and to continue xenharmonic research as well as research into where we, as composer, go from here. So yeah, all yours. Yeah, Luke, thank you very much for being with us.
There we go. All right.
Looks great.
This work for you guys?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. All right. Yeah. So, my name is Luke Villavicencio, and I'll be presenting on the guitar technique of static bending. Um, so first I want to start off with a quote from Richard Wagner. The oldest, truest, most beautiful organ of music, the origin to which alone our music owes its being, is the human voice. And I feel this is true for uh, many reasons, and you can always see in any kind of instrumental discipline this longing to sort of to replicate the sounds of the human voice and the freeness of the human voice. And so question comes up of how do we do that on the regular classical guitar? So pretty much the same thing as a lot of different instruments. We add vibrato, uh, changes in tone, similar to tone changes of different vowels on the voice, and then bending, which is something rather specific to pluck string instruments. And our sort of way to get away from the restriction of the frets to more accurately represent the free tonal pitch spectrum of like the human voice. Whether or not we are thinking of it that way or not, that is essentially what us guitarists are kind of aiming for a lot of the time to replicate this sort of vocal quality. Uh, and so, uh, we will get back to the vocalness, but in terms of how to perform the static bend, I'm just going to compare it to regular bending, which is, you pluck before you bend so that you get this sort of portamento, this pitch slide. And, that's that effect that a lot of rock musicians and blues musicians go for. Um, But the difference between that and static bending is plucking after you bend, because we bypass the portamento, and it almost gives the illusion of there being a extra fret in between, or like you're adding the fretlets, or using a adjustable microtonal fretboard or anything like that. It gives that illusion of having more pitch options on an otherwise, 12-tone equal temperament instrument. And so my favorite example of this technique is in a piece called Tiento by Maurice Ohana. And so before getting into how it sounds and looking into a short section of my performance of the piece, I just want to talk about Maurice Ohana for a bit, because this gets back into the replicating of the vocal qualities. So this technique only appears in this one measure of an otherwise 3 or 4-page piece, I think. And it's specifically an homage to the folk genre of cantejando from Spain. And it's replicating these microtonal melodies that these, very emotional singers will perform in this folk technique, this folk genre. And he's really just kind of paying homage to that with this, by using this technique, and using it as more of a, like, not so much a focus of the piece, but as just a little small footnote on this journey that he takes you on for this piece, which it really is a journey, this piece. And I really recommend you take a listen. We're not going to listen to the whole thing. So we're going for this vocal mimicry. And then I know he also takes influence from some of the African tribes that he spent some time with in his youth, and those kinds of microtonal melodies that are used in that kind of music. And it all just sort of culminates in just this little small homage, and then he continues in other pieces to utilize this less as a set piece and more of like a little one-time appearance. So let's take a listen to this one part and see if I check the boxes correctly. So we can see how it does replicate that kind of feeling, and he even goes as far as to omit any kind of accompanimental harmonies or any bass notes in this section to specifically give the spotlight to these 2 notes that utilize that technique, and I think it works out really effectively here. Nope. There we go. And now we are going to take a look at how I use it in my own piece called Hollow. This is a 3-movement piece with a prelude, a fugue, and a berceuse at the end. And I, similarly taking influence from Ohana, use this as just a small little decoration in this final movement. I don't use it all in the other 2 movements. And the only difference with what I do from what he does is I use it both melodically and in a harmonic context. And so you can see we've got these different areas where I use it to shift keys. I use it as a way to, lean into this C sharp when we're moving to A major. And I have a bit more detailed of a breakdown here of all the spots where I use it. And especially here, which this area right here is the climax of the piece, near 45, measure 45. And I use it to really pull at the heartstrings and go for that emotional aspect of canteggiando and all those things. And here I actually do resort to the standard bend to get out of the static bend, where I start at a slightly raised pitch and get that portamento down to that C sharp. And I find that this works really effectively when you pick and choose where to add those pitch slides, as opposed to just adding the pitch slide because it's a bend. And I think it really adds more weight when you do. And, you're using these static bends everywhere, and then you use a portamento to get out of a static bend, and it's like, whoa, this is completely different. That's a bit more of a shock factor and surprise to it. And yeah, so I think we will take a listen and then continue to look at the harmonic aspects. So this will be the entire third movement here. So, here's just a zoomed in look at how I was thinking about going about this key change using the static bend. And so here I'm kind of, well, first of all, the main problem, I guess, with static bending in general is you can't really adhere to a specific tuning system or any kind of, temperament outside of approximations, pretty much. So you really have to rely on things like, just barely getting that quarter tone or anything like that. And while that, would be typically pretty ineffective for something more rigid and mathematical, it's very effective for approximating the harmonic series. And so by, using this C sharp raised, we are kind of approximating this 11th harmonic, which is a raised perfect fourth. So the G sharp would be the fundamental. And you get this sort of strange sounding chord, but it works in that it's dissonant resolving to this great consonant release. And we're using not only that logic of utilizing the harmonic series, but then we're also thinking in terms of counterpoint and where the voices are going. We've got the raised C sharp lowering down to a regular C sharp. And then at the same time, we've got that contrary motion of the G sharp raising to the A, the E going sol do to the A. And it adds a whole lot more weight to that key change, and it's very difficult for some for the non-trained ear to recognize that's even a key change. And I just really enjoy that release, and it almost feels so much stronger than just a 5/7 or something. And yeah, so now thinking in terms of that, we will listen one more time, keeping those things in mind. And for the most part, I usually resolve those bent notes, and I think of it more in a physics way, where the note is bent and it therefore should resolve to not being bent. And that usually works out before I even consider what I am harmonizing it with and all that. Or it works as a basis through which I can then consider harmony. So we'll take a listen one more time, keeping that in mind. Right. And this QR code here on this slide would just take you to the full video. And there is a score available for this piece if you'd like to reach out and take a closer look. Yeah, so that's kind of my thought process for going through utilizing this. I have not seen this technique in too many different pieces. It's mostly Maurice Ohana that has the most popular piece that uses it at all. And I'm pretty sure he goes into it in a couple other pieces as well of his. But I would certainly like to continue to utilize this in the future. So ending with the same quote, "The oldest, truest, most beautiful organ of music, the origin to which alone our music owes its being, is the human voice." And I think that this is a great technique, not only in the context of compositionally, but also just performance-wise. Guitarists are always obsessed with getting past the frets and different ways to innovate on the instrument, and a lot of times this results in the creation of a separate instrument, like a fretless guitar or something else like that. But I think there's still so much to explore while it's still using the frets, and there are just great ways to get around it to mimic the human voice in a way that's natural to the instrument. And I look forward to every other innovation on my favorite instrument. So I wanted to keep it short, like usual from my presentations, but I like to leave a lot of time for questions.
Mhm. Thank you very much, Luke. Congratulations, and it's always a pleasure to see about your developments. And yes, I wanted to do this anyway in a digital way. Yeah, so I would like to ask, of course, I'm connected to Cante Hondo because Cante Jondo, or in English maybe, Cante Hondo. I was born in Jerez. I mean, I've been living
Oh,
most of my life away from Jerez, but I'm still very connected, especially musically. And I'm very connected to the guitar, so I'll save my own questions for the end. We have plenty of time, which is for me personally great. But I would like to ask first in the group if anyone would like to go ahead and ask Luke any questions. Okay. Otherwise, I just wanted to be a gentleman, and I just wanted to be polite. And yeah, are you in touch with Tolgahan Chogulu? You know.
I do know of him. That I mentioned the microtonal adjusting fretboard, and
Yeah.
that's part of my. I love watching all of the things. I follow him on everything, and I love watching his innovations on the instrument and what he's doing.
Mhm.
Uh, but as as a current college student, I can't really afford to buy his
About
adjustable.
of course, yeah, yeah, yeah.
As much as I would love to, it looks so cool. But that'll have to be a future endeavor of mine. But yeah, I love everything he does, and I really respect all of his work.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he might know specific examples of this bending. I can't think myself of any. I mean, in my music, yes, I can remember
Yes.
some examples, but this is yeah. I was trying to find other examples, and also as I don't play, I don't consider myself a guitarist, although I'm playing here on Sunday, an exception. Yeah, so I keep forgetting so many examples. One question that I would have for you, Luke, if you have any preferences with the tension of the strings. I think you were playing there maybe medium tension, the strings sounded to me, or my imagination.
Yeah, often I go towards either medium. I was for a while I was partial to higher tension just for the sake of volume uh and all that. And recently, uh, a professor I was studying with, Felipe Vargas Magdaleno, he recommended specifically for me learning that Maurice Ohana piece
Uh-huh.
to consider raising my action to get more volume because that piece can get very loud with all the raschiato and all
Yes.
that. And so he recommended that I delve into that a bit more in tension and action to get more volume out of my guitar because my performance guitar is very soft and lute like
Mhm.
a lot of people have described it as. And so it's hard to get that aggressive tone out of it.
Yeah, but
But
Ohana, I guess you were using hard tension. I actually the medium tension. I meant the
oh, for the duet.
yeah.
Yes, yeah, that one was probably medium tension, and I might have changed my strings. I think I probably had just changed my strings for that for the Ohana piece, and so that might have been the volume and brightness that you might have been hearing.
Okay, but so no preferences, like using, you think they work better in your case, in your opinion, your taste as a composer?
In my taste, I'd say medium. Uh, but yeah, I haven't really gotten too much into like lighter tensions at all. I don't really like how they feel in terms of just feeling the tension under my fingers. But yeah, usually medium or harder. I used to use hard tension a bit more, but I mostly medium now.
Mm-hmm. And are you combining? I mean, you probably use this technique just in this duet you said.
So far, yes, just in this duet, but I'm looking into working it into a solo at some point, and and also I love small ensemble music too, so doing something with that as well.
And combining it maybe with other techniques, microtonal techniques on the guitar, because there are plenty of them actually. I mean,
Yes, definitely. Especially after seeing your presentation, I already right after that I bought one of your pieces and I was like, I gotta delve into this a bit more.
thanks. Good luck.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I think somebody joined us, Orlando. Maybe he has. Yeah. I don't know if anyone already has any questions for Luke. Okay, or anything connected to guitar, microtones on the guitar, which is I find it a great instrument for developing microtonality. I mean, I mainly stay there. It's my only way to use microtonality. It was very interesting for me when Ryan, I think he was mentioning Ryan, the first, or I can't remember now. So this is my level. Yes, it was Ryan. He was saying he avoids the use of scordatura, so for me, it's quite the opposite actually. I normally would use some kind of scordatura to develop microtonality. So it's very, very interesting to see all individual approaches to microtonality from everyone actually, especially from composers. Yeah, it's everyone completely different.
Yeah, yeah. I think the use of Scorpio is great too, especially like when you want a lot more options in terms of microtonal pitches and all of that. Um, yeah, I also tend to stay away from it for now, just
Mhm.
because when it comes to just as also a performer, like I want to not have to retune my strings as much as possible. But I would like to delve into that as well. It's very interesting, and I know a lot of your pieces have a lot of uh, great, like the like Sakura was a really great like. I was explaining that piece to my classmates after your presentation, and they were like, "What? All G strings?" Uh, and yeah, they were blown away by that. But yeah, I definitely so many options and so many avenues to explore. Uh, yeah, I'm excited as a guitarist and composer.
Mhm. By the way, I
Okay.
saw Victor wants to ask something. So Victor, please go
Uh,
ahead.
uh, this is a pretty stupid question from a non-guitarist, but I'm interested in, let's say, we have regular tuning of the guitar, where strings are tuned fifths apart. But is it possible to tune guitar to have, let's say, a neutral third in between, or maybe dividing this interval to smaller and larger set, like 315 cent and 385 cent, for example.
Yeah, yeah, that's 100% possible. In a lot of cases, you would have to consider the the diameter of each string and how how that would affect how well that pitch would ring out on a different string. And in the case of Augustin, he would he made all of the strings on the guitar the same thickness and tuned them all. What was it, a sixth tone apart, Augustine?
Mhm. So it's possible, but this way you might have different tension of the strings, and if the strings are the same type, they will sound differently because of the tension. Yep.
Right, right, yeah. And so you could do all that as long as, the if you're doing it super small intervals apart, then they would all need to be relatively the same tension. And if you're doing it more like, a neutral third, like you said, then maybe you would just consider having, two strings, the two bottom strings the same tension, then the two middle strings the same tension, two things, whatever. Whatever would work the best, physically for that to be possible, but it would work out really well. And I think there's a lot of areas where that could be explored in a lot of really cool ways. Yeah. And there's no such thing as a stupid question.
Thank you.
Augustine, I think you're muted.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Put in the chat a piece. I will try to find the score for you. It's a piece by the founder of the Microtonal Society in Salzburg, Rita Herf, and he tunes the open strings. I mean, you can do anything actually, so this is a particular case in which these intervals are done. Maybe, I mean, I will try to find the score for you. I thought I would find it online, but I'm sure it's somewhere in our webpage. I'm not just. I just need a moment to locate it, and then I can send you by email actually.
Sure. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Thank you.
Hello, Maxime.
Dear Agustin, can I have a brief question to Luke?
Please go ahead. We're happy.
So first of all, I want to thank you for this quite interesting presentation. I have a chance to follow your previous presentation on the Microtonal Symposium, so it's interesting to see how you develop your ideas, especially for me, like a guitarist and member of a guitar quartet. So my question is very simple. I quite have a lot of scores that utilize the same technique, but use it like Ohana style, so it's accidentally in some special moments. So I can remember the work of Richard Cameron Wolf, who used the same technique. And also I want to ask you, do you know this jazz and fusion guitar player Alec Goldfarb?
No, I'm not familiar.
So I suggest you to follow him. Maybe I can share exact name, and you can follow his on Instagram, for example. He uses quite a lot of this technique in the style of Indian raga to utilize the shrutis in different ragas, and he doing this technique really in a virtuosic way. It depends in the difference between classical guitar and electric guitar. You know that on electric guitar bendings are much easier than on a classical one, but it's still for me it's a lot of inspiration to develop this technique further. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, and please put those examples in the chat. I'd love to take a look at all those. But yeah, that sounds awesome.
More questions, please. Otherwise, we might have, again, a couple of minutes break, and we continue in 10 minutes, if you agree. Thank you so much. Congratulations, Luke. It's really great to see you growing as a composer.